You are alive. So you were saying what now?
I said, even though I was elected and now I have this fantastic job, this was my dream job. I don't need to do anything else. I think when you're an entrepreneur, you kind of always have that side hustle mentality. So now I'm trying to figure out, okay, well, what am I going to
What's
do to
next?
fill that time? What's next? And one of my personal goals is to write a book about the campaign process.
Wow.
So that's what I'm going to be working on this year, is to just write that book for the person who, when I started, I had no clue the process, how it was going to work, especially during a pandemic.
Hmm.
So I'm going to try and create a very simple guide for someone who's just thinking of running for office, taking what I learned. Um, and so, yeah, that's what I'll use, I think, to fill that need I have to be creative.
So there wasn't a guide, or there is no guide.
No, there really wasn't. And when I start, like, so if you remember, like I think it was like October of 2019, we started talking about how I was going to run to be a judge.
Hmm.
And, I started doing research. I was looking for books, like how to run a campaign, a county level campaign. Judicial campaigns are very different than any other political candidate. A lot of rules that don't apply to other candidates, which is good. Um, and so I was looking for books or videos or, kind of things. How did people do it in different areas outside of where I lived? How did people
Hmm.
use technology? How did people use email or video or Facebook or Instagram to connect with voters? And I couldn't really find anything specific to judges.
It's new. It's too
Yeah.
new.
So it was definitely something. I kept a journal along the way, what worked, what didn't, who I spoke to, like how I interacted with different people, how I met with different people, and how every person you meet connects you to somebody else. So I had a
Oh,
lot of help, a lot of advice along the way. Um,
wow.
I met
Let's do a
people from all
documentary.
over the state, in terms of different candidates, my congressman, my senator. I mean, it was a really exciting experience. So all the advice that they gave me along the way, I kept a journal. And
Wow.
so I'm hoping to pay it forward by helping the next person.
Let me introduce you so people know what we're doing here today. I'm excited. I haven't talked to my friend. I'm like, I don't consider you. I mean, we do business, but I'm like, I
Right,
talk to you about other stuff too.
right,
And
right. We're definitely friends at this point.
Roundup family greetings, class. This is Chris Haskins with the realestateroundup.com. Today is a little different as we approach 2021. In my mission to raise your financial literacy, I want you to understand that it's all about connection, and this is a people business.
Hmm.
This is a people business. I cannot stress to you enough. I don't care what from A to Z real estate. If you buy a house, a person has to sell you the house. If you borrow money,
Absolutely.
a person has to approve you. If you go hire a contractor, there will be a human being. It's so many things, and you have to connect with people inside and outside of your industry. Jessica Segal, real estate investor slash attorney, now new judge. Congratulations, Jay.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Welcome,
It's so
welcome, welcome.
exciting. It really is. It's life-changing, and I'm so excited to be able to take on this challenge and do really meaningful work. It's a criminal court, and
Okay.
so,
Yeah, tell us
it's a
where you at, Jay.
I ran for a countywide court judge position that handles all felony crimes. Um, so it's an opportunity to
Straight
do
criminal.
really meaningful work, and I will be overseeing a drug treatment court program. So it'll be very rewarding. And I'm really looking forward to,
Rewind a little bit because you
yeah,
prosecuted in this same
county. Yeah.
courtroom.
So yeah. Yeah. So it's full circle for me. I started out 20 years ago as a prosecutor in
Mhm.
the county court. I spent 17 years there doing felony trials and different work. And then
Wow.
private practice as a criminal defense attorney. I appeared in that court as well. So this is the last full circle for me to finish my career as the judge in the courtroom where it all began. It was a
Wow.
goal. Yeah, it's a really exciting goal. I'm only the second woman also in the history of this court to have the position, so that's pretty exciting.
Unreal.
Yes, and um, what I wanted to pop on and talk about is, and what we've kind of always touched on is, this business, we connected through real estate. You never know, just because you have one, like what we call our day job, right?
Yeah.
So criminal law has always been my day job, or estate planning has been my day job. I've always had a side hustle, different things, and real estate was an area I was very interested in learning, and that's how we connected. But it sort of turned into something else. It was this opportunity for me to really explore goals for myself, being an entrepreneur and having multiple streams of income. And what you talk about all the time is you have to prepare yourself for the unknown. And so, with the pandemic, a lot of law firms just couldn't make it. They shut down. They were not able
Really?
to. Oh yeah, a lot of attorneys were struggling. And so
I didn't know that.
having the multiple streams of income is fantastic, to have the rental income, or to have, like, from selling my templates with you, or a course we've created, or something else we've done. Having that other income is really important, and
That's
was
cra-
was a good lesson. Yeah.
I didn't know that attorneys. I thought that they would just go mobile and do Zoom meetings and just go to court like
Well,
that.
it depends. For some lawyers, I'm sure that's fine. But the problem is, if people don't have money to pay for an attorney, then the attorney has no work. So yes, they could go mobile, and they did everything on Zoom or Microsoft Teams or different things. But at the end of the day, if somebody doesn't have money to pay their attorney because they lost their job,
Oh, they're
then
done. Yeah.
there's just no business there. Now,
Wow.
the big companies, they didn't go anywhere. Of course, they still need their business attorneys. Um, but if there is like an eviction moratorium, nobody can do, who's gonna, if you have no rent coming in, how are you gonna pay, why would you pay an attorney if they can't do anything about the eviction? So it was this sort of vicious cycle. Um,
That's deep. That's deep.
so yeah, yeah. And it was one of those, it's sad to see how it affected a lot of my friends. They had to let staff go. They had to, some people, as soon as things kind of opened up a little bit in New York, they're fine. Others closed their doors. So I don't know that they'll ever open up. But the positive
Wow.
thing is, a lot of people took stock of their crazy lives. I know a lot of friends who decided, you know what, this is a real wake up call for me to reevaluate how I was living my life.
Regarding the expenses going out,
Yeah.
generally speaking? Generally speaking?
Yes, in terms
Okay.
of even just the craziness of the hours they were working,
Okay.
and,
Time
not,
too.
yes, time and money, and enjoying spending time with family, and, like, getting back to cooking at home, getting back to playing board games with your kids, real basic things. I have to say, I loved being able to work remotely, and I
Me
really
too.
enjoyed the extra time at home with my family. It turned out to be, um, it turned out to be a time that I enjoyed, especially while campaigning, because I got to use technology to meet all these voters that I never would have had access to. We did, house parties on Zoom. And so you could show up in your pajamas and meet 30, 40 people for a half hour, and then move on and go to the next one. And so it
Nice.
allowed me to meet hundreds of people in a free with a free resource. You didn't have to pay a fundraiser to come, to some restaurant to interact. You could just use this free resource. And so
Sweet.
it's amazing. My vote count was over 70,000 people.
Holy cow,
If you
Jay.
think about, I mean, that was a record number
Like
of
an
votes.
arena. You like
Yeah.
an
So,
arena. Wow.
and I won by 4,500 votes.
Now, was that
So
wide or small?
I was just going to say, that's a large margin.
Mhm.
And I do credit the use of social media and technology for that.
No, no, but you were kinda I feel like you were kinda headed that way as we were talking, obviously every month after month after month, you were getting
Yeah.
on the social media thing. Are you thinking that that helped you?
Absolutely. I think it helped me tremendously. Because again, it was a free resource. So fundraising is very difficult in a pandemic. People are trying to
Yeah,
put food on the table. They don't necessarily want to donate to a judicial campaign.
I can
So
imagine.
yeah. So using, Instagram and Facebook and YouTube, that was a fantastic way to reach out to voters. Google ads are cheap.
They've
The
gone down.
Facebook
Yeah.
ads were pretty cheap. You can reach 50,000 people for a few $100.
Mhm.
So it was
That's so
great.
cool.
Uh, so what I would say though is in terms of like evaluating this year, I'd love to know how you change things up. But what I wanted to touch on, since it's almost the last day of the year, is when I decided to run. I mean, honestly, it was a crazy goal. I mean, it was
What
a
month was
really
that,
high
Jay?
goal.
Give me a
Uh,
month when you decided.
I
Because you didn't really
decided, I
talk
think,
to me. It wasn't like Chris or not. It was personal.
yeah. I was running against a well-known incumbent, and I'm not very involved. I wasn't involved in politics, so it wasn't like you had this big um, political following. It was going to be a huge undertaking while dealing with my rental properties, while being a mom, while being a lawyer, like just taking on all this extra stuff. So,
Was that in March? I just want to, real
so I
quick. I'm sorry.
started,
Let me
yeah,
rewind.
yeah.
I gotta make sure I reintroduce you. This is Jessica Segal, attorney, now a judge, elected judge in New York. What is that? In Dorchester? What is it
I'm
called?
in Dutchess County.
Dutchess County, upstate.
Yeah.
Fairly
Yeah,
upstate New
I am.
York.
I'm about an hour and a half north of New York City.
Gotcha. Yeah. So round up, I just wanted to get her perspective on running for office and just being an investor and stuff here and all the stuff she's been through. Sorry about that. I want to make sure I reintroduce you so people know who you are, what we're
Sure.
talking about, Jay.
Sure, no problem. So I would say about October, I think we decided we were going to do it. We were going to launch the campaign. I was going to run. And we officially kicked off in January before the pandemic hit. So I
Man,
had a kickoff party in January, and then by March everything was shut down.
I can imagine. What were you thinking? I mean, I'm sure at night you had some sleepless nights.
Oh, yeah.
Like, what the hell am I doing?
The real lesson of it though was, and we've talked about this before, is your ceiling is only limited by what you tell yourself. Your limits are only there based upon what you put on yourself. And I just believed I could do it. I set a goal for myself, and then every single day there was one task that had to be done towards that goal. And so it would take me a year. The campaign was an entire year from basically November to November. And you had to break this year-long goal into bite-sized pieces. So in order to get to this election, what did I have to do today to get me closer? What did I have to do this month? What did I have to line up 6 months from now? And so it's like anything else. If you want to buy a rental property, if you want to buy an apartment building, if you want to leap to, buying, maybe you have a few doors and you want to buy a 90-unit apartment building, what do you have to do today to get you ready to that point? Who do you have to network with? What books do you have to read? What financing do you have to start, getting ready? And that's really how I approached it. My experience as a real estate investor sort of prepared me for this challenge, because you always have to be ready for the unknown. And you always have to have, we've talked about having reserves and planning and, doing your due diligence before you buy anything. And so I kind of did that with the campaign. And I looked at how much money is this going to cost? How much time? What's involved in getting to this end goal? And then you just have to make sure that you fit in your other responsibilities while doing it all.
Wow.
But I'm thrilled that I had the faith and belief in myself that I could do it, because I think
Was it just you two? It was him and you, or
yes,
okay.
yes. And, I think a lot of people think, well, maybe that's someday I'll do it. Or, oh, I don't know that I can pull it off. Or they just sort of have these limiting beliefs. And I think whether it's in real estate or any business you have to have faith in yourself that you can do it. You have to believe, that whatever your one big goal is, that you can do it. And just take little steps every day to get you to that big goal. And I think it's interesting because I was working for so long towards this goal and now I achieved it. You have this sort of calm. I'm like relearning how to relax, how to enjoy time off, how to be still. I've always had multiple things going on at the same time. So, I'm already thinking like, all right, well, what's next? What's the next project?
What's next? What's next? What's next? Entrepreneur.
Yeah. So I'm going to enjoy some time around my house, fixing things up and doing some things around the house I've neglected. I picked up a few books that I've been excited to read.
So we got a comment came in, Jessica. Matter of fact, I'm gonna put your stuff on sale. Your docs are still on the website. Somebody asked about the templates tray. If you go to the website, if you use the code New Year, matter of fact, I'm announcing it now. We weren't going to start it till tomorrow, Jessica. I didn't even tell you.
Okay.
You get 40% off anything on the site. The code is going to be New Year, and I'll put that up with Trey. Jessica, all the stuff she created, her LLC stuff, partnership agreement, and all that stuff, just go to chrishaskins.com. Jessica's stuff, her templates are on this site, okay?
Yes.
All right.
So,
I'll let you go, Jay. I'm just listening. I can ask questions, but you can go.
So I'll tell you this too, because it's been so long since we spoke. I had set out 2020 was a year, ironically, to simplify. Though the reason I was running for judge was I needed to simplify my life. I had too many different side hustles. I was doing too many things. I was teaching. I had my private practice. I was all over. I worked with you. So what I'm really happy about is I was very intentional about wanting to simplify my life.
Less is more.
Yes. So that I could focus on the things that really mattered and that would generate the most income with the least amount of work, right? I mean, you don't want to keep working harder. You have to work smarter. So I was lucky in the middle of the pandemic. I know we did do a video, I think like 6 months ago on this. I sold a multifamily in the middle of the pandemic. That was really just too much work. There was nothing wrong with it. The market was so hot where I'm living. I got full ask offers within a few days of being on the market. And I'm so relieved that I don't have, and I sold it before the pandemic really, really hit us in New York. So, I ended up putting that for sale in like March or April. I think we closed sometime around then. Can't even remember at this point. But if I had tenants who couldn't pay their rent, that would have been devastating. So it worked out that I sold it. And, I gave up teaching. I'm no longer allowed to engage in private practice once I'm elected judge. So I have to limit everything else I do. I can do educational things. I can have a business unrelated to the practice of law. So
do we fall under that, Jay? Will your documents and your templates fall under informational purposes?
You know what? I have to look into the ethical rules. Those templates already exist. And it's not legal advice. So, I'm not giving anybody legal advice. So I think it should be fine, but I'm just going to make sure I read through my ethical rules. But certainly things like this, where we just chat about stuff and for an educational component, there's nothing wrong with that. But it's been great because a lot of people that watch, they will reach out, they'll email me, ask questions. So you're providing such a resource really to everybody. It's fantastic.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, we passed 70,000 subs the other day, and I'm thinking, I'm like, man, I miss talking to Jessica. I get a million emails looking for you, want to say how to get in touch with you.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah, we've
busy.
covered a lot of topics. We covered everything from legal issues, health savings accounts. We cover all kinds of stuff. Yeah, I ended up looking into investing in REITs
Okay.
as a passive way of being involved in the real estate game without having to manage a property. All because of you. So we provide good value to each other. I've learned a
Yeah.
lot from you just as much as I've helped with your legal questions.
So what about, are you
What
like
about
there
you?
forever? Are you there forever? I mean, do you have to do
No,
run every year, or what is it? How does it work?
it's a 10-year term.
10 years.
It's a
Wow.
10 year. Yeah. So I'm pretty excited about that.
Now, the last guy was in there for how many years?
He completed his 10-year term and was up for reelection.
Okay, cool. Did he run a hard campaign, or was he more kind of laid back, or what?
Well, I know, I think we both, he worked hard. He certainly worked hard, but very fair. We were both very respectful of each other and really just ran on our own records. And, that's the nice thing about a judicial campaign. You're not allowed to, really, sling mud
Go
or
Donald
put
Trump
those
style.
tax ads and stuff like that you see with other types of races.
Yeah, gotcha.
So yeah, no.
10
So
years.
let
Good
me
for you.
ask you, what is your, I want to know now, what are you thinking ahead for 2021? What's your path at this point?
Well, as our relationship was growing over the year and a half, I don't know how long we've been doing.
Hmm.
We started out real estate. Then I was actually matriculating. Thank you, Hampton University. Learning the internet too. And it was kind of
Yeah.
it was revealing itself to me now that I'm here. I'm like, social media is running
Hmm.
my business. The internet, my wife is like looking at the numbers. It's crazy. I mean, we just had 5,000 subscribers in a month. So I'm
Wow.
thinking, the internet for me is really taking off. Real estate is kind of on autopilot with my rental properties. As you know, I do lease
Hmm.
options, so it's not like I'm fixing toilets and,
Right.
matter of fact, I've been thinking about doing a video. I have to drive around to my houses that I never see. I think people need to
Hmm.
understand that, we don't do that stuff. But the internet,
That's
Jay, I just don't think, huh?
that's fantastic. That is really
Yeah.
great.
I don't think the internet's going anywhere, Jay. I mean, I did some joint ventures with people just trying to bring the education for people not only to learn real estate, but I just think it's so important. Like, I mean, I think both of us were kind of opening up to the social media. Look at you, now you're judged, and you're talking about the internet helped you.
Yes.
So it's like it all boils. It's kind of coming back down to the internet.
Yes. Yeah. And then I plan on writing a book on that, like how to use social media, not just for a
Yeah.
business, but how a candidate can use it to
Wow.
reach thousands of people. And yeah, and so there's all kinds of components to it. I still want to do a course on LLCs and land trust and estate planning and all that. It's always been, I started it and then I ended up doing the campaign, so it kind of
Yeah.
got pushed back. But I'm always going to be interested in creating educational materials to share through social media.
Yeah. Well, when I say the internet, I mean, well, and from my experience, social media is the state of the
Yes.
internet right now. It'll
Yes.
transform later, but
Hmm.
yeah, social media. And I even think about back with Obama and how he used it and the
Hmm.
campaigns. It's like it's here to stay. I'm glad you welcomed it. It
Absolutely.
did really good for you. So, what does the future hold for you, Jay? Are you gonna be in there like sending people to jail for life and like, bang? Yeah. What time is it?
Well,
5 to 10. Let's do it. 5 to 10.
well, unfortunately, that is a component of my job will be incarceration. But I'm very passionate about prevention education and drug treatment programs and all sorts of treatment programs. It's one of my goals is to get a veteran treatment court into the court system so
Oh,
that
okay. We need
we
that.
address the needs of
Yeah,
veterans.
we need that.
And we definitely need more mental health treatment courts. It's just really hard especially where I live to get the help. A lot of times the criminal behavior, the underlying criminal behavior is a result of mental health issues.
Mental, yeah. Not understood.
Um,
I don't understand it.
right.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that those are some projects that I can bring forth. But for the most part, yes, it's very violent crime. It's going to be rape and murder
Wow.
and
Holy
large
cow.
scale narcotic sales. And
I thought you were tired of dealing with that stuff, Jay. You got out of dealing with that stuff when you were litigating all that stuff.
I know, but you know what? As a judge, I feel that this is so rewarding to be able
It's a different
to, yes, to bring about a different sense of justice for people going through the process, whether it be victims or someone charged with a crime. And I think I have the experience that will help bring back some faith in the system. I know, especially with everything going on around the nation, a lot of people question if the criminal justice system is
Right.
fair.
I
And so
do.
I'm really looking forward to, being that voice and that face of change.
I think that's phenomenal, Jay. And I think if you could include that in your book would be nice because, guys outside of the circle, let's just say coming from different backgrounds, they have no idea of your background or the
Mhm.
compassion or empathy of the person sitting behind that big desk. And I think that what you stand for really does mean a lot, and it's what we need. I'm telling you,
Mhm.
Jay, just with our conversations, with your trainings and your docs and just putting that stuff together, the heart which you did it for,
Mhm.
I just don't see that a lot.
Thank you. Yeah, I've really enjoyed this experience with you, from starting out with the newsletter, working our way up to videos. I mean, I have to say it was really, at first I was just so shy, and to do the videos, to really put yourself out there, you know, uh, but I'm
Gotta
glad I
help
had
you.
all that time with you. It got
Yeah.
me, again, the experience for the campaign. It all builds little baby steps towards your goals.
Wow, that is cool. If anybody has any questions, newly elected, how do we, what are you now? Like a judge elect? I don't know. What is it?
Yes,
What is
yeah,
the
I guess
title?
technically judge-elect. I'm officially a judge. I signed my oath of office. I'm actually on duty January 1st for any
Friday?
emergencies. Yes. They put the new person in, of course, over New Year's weekend.
We need some sentencing. I hope they
Yeah,
don't do that, man. They better
no.
take off.
And then
So
I go to a judge's training school for a couple of weeks. So
is that online or what? How would that be?
it's gonna be virtual this year. It's usually in a
Crazy.
hotel and everybody gets
Yeah.
together, but this year it'll be virtual. So I think, like everybody else, we're just adapting. Court appearances in New York are virtual.
On the stage,
Everybody
yeah.
is appearing virtually. So we're just trying to keep things moving along.
Well, yeah, I'm thinking I'm gonna leave it alone. Your spirit is needed in the system as much as this mess going on in our system around the country. Good gracious, Jay. So
Yeah.
the way you put all that other stuff together in the mindset and the spirit that you put it together, yeah, I'm presuming you would take to the chambers as well.
Yes. I hope I know that I can have a positive impact. And I think I do come from a place of service. And to me, this is the ultimate service for the community, giving back and trying to do good work that's needed. So I'm very excited, but I do really believe in your philosophy. I think that's why we get along so well, is
Yeah.
when you give, when you serve, ultimately it will come back to you in a good,
Oh
positive
man.
way. So, yeah.
So this thing here, is this it? Like you don't necessarily have to do anything. I'm thinking about as much stuff as you were doing before. You're cutting out.
Yeah.
Is it that? And what
I've
is your
pretty
life?
much cut out everything else. Okay. So
Wow.
this is going to be my 9 to 5 job. I'm going to take some time to enjoy a simpler life. I don't have to do any other work.
Don't have
And
to.
it's going to be a lot of work. I mean, it's a significant job. There's a huge caseload. I'm going to be very busy.
So the attorneys
So I've
turn in.
decided,
Yeah.
yeah,
Go
I
ahead,
can't
Jess.
practice law. I can't do anything else law
Well, when you say
related.
a lot of work, I'm presuming I don't have a picture of what a judge would do. I mean, you have listened, but obviously you have to go study case law. Give us kind of a picture of how that looks. You have to go verify different things, what has passed in the past, and then make a decision on what the law is and what your spirit. I don't know.
Well, it's primarily a trial court. So most of the time when we go back to in-person open court, I'm going to be on trial quite a bit.
So you're
So
gonna have a jury, or is it
yes,
just so you
jury
don't even
trial.
make the decision? Oh, damn, you're in there with the jury.
Yes. So I'm going to be a trial.
Wow.
Yes.
You oh,
Yes.
I'm
And
thinking
I
of
will have a law
civil.
clerk. Yeah, I have no, it's all criminal. So you get a
I'm thinking
jury trial
civil.
and
Oh,
pretrial
no.
hearings, jury
Wow.
trials. Oh,
Okay.
yeah. And I get a
That's
law clerk
serious.
to help me with legal research. So my law clerk will do the bulk of the research and writing. I'm mostly in the courtroom, which I
Okay.
love. That's my happy place, the courtroom. So I'm excited about that.
But not arguing, though.
You're right.
You don't have to
Yeah,
argue. All right. Well, I don't know, Jay, if you want to share anything else with them, I could ask you a million questions for here to the end of the day. I had you for 30 minutes. Anything else you want to
I
share?
know. No, I would say this is my advice for the as we're kind of ending the year is to encourage people to really think about what their goals are going forward
It's
and come
changed.
up with a 1 year goal, a 5 year goal, a 10 year goal. Like, what really do you want out of life? And make sure you commit time every day for yourself towards those goals. I feel like we are controlled by our email, text messages, social
I'm
media.
sick
People are
of it.
deciding for us what's important, and to just make sure you block time for your health
Sick of
and
it.
for your own goals before you jump on what other people need or expect from you. Make sure you're taking time every day for yourself, because ultimately you have to take care of yourself if you're going to be successful in either your family, your business, any aspect of your life.
It's funny you mentioned that my mentor doesn't have a phone, neither does he have a email. So he just goes in and he told me, listen, you need to log out of your email. Jay, I found myself checking email. I'm like, gotta get out of doing that stuff.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I read all the time. And the most I've learned, the most successful people have somebody else responding to their email. They don't check their email. And, they
To the
have
side.
assistants who help them stay on top of those things so they can use their time for their skills. What is their most productive skill? And everything else they have a team member for.
Yeah.
And yeah, you're definitely at the point where you're ready for that.
Oh, God, believe me, I've been interviewing people.
Yes.
Jessica Segal, this is a nice treat.
Well, I appreciate that you've given me this platform to participate. I've had a lot of fun over the past few years with you and your viewers, and I'm always around. I'm always here. Um,
Y'all hear that,
but
y'all, right? We're gonna get her to come back on here.
but yes, unfortunately, they're going to have to find a new lawyer to ask questions of.
So you can't even do the email thing anymore.
No, I won't be doing that. No, I'll be available to talk to you about stuff, but no, I can't give out any legal advice.
That's cool, man. All right.
But yeah, well, I wish everybody, and of course you, a very happy and healthy new year. It's
Yep.
exciting. It's an exciting time for me, and I'm very grateful that we're healthy, and that's what I focus on every day. Just little take it. I appreciate the little things in life, and it's important.
Little stuff. I had a
Yeah.
question, Jay. You want to take a question or you want to hold off? You
Yeah,
done?
no, that's fine. Let's see. Just finished law school and
Wow.
I'm fixing my first fantastic.
Holy cow. How the heck did she do that? Law school and doing a flip.
Yeah, that's
Wrote my
awesome. Good for
yeah,
you.
that's a
That is
beast.
amazing.
Wrote my lease, and I'm contemplating
Also
extending
house
it to
hacking. If I had known that way back
when no kids, no family, right? It's
right?
easy to do
Yeah.
that. Listen,
Honestly, it depends on what state you're in. The arbitration to settle disputes.
good idea.
Um, it's a
Explain
good
that,
idea.
Jay, so people don't explain that.
Arbitration is basically an out of court negotiation where you can agree to different things. But the reality is, because of the pandemic, almost every state has some sort of eviction moratorium preventing you from just going in and
Period.
changing the locks, or kicking
Period.
somebody out. So it's good to have it in there, but you want to make sure that your state allows that, or there isn't some other law that's going to trump that in your state.
Gotcha. Okay, guys, I got Mike Fritz coming back on in a few hours to offer you his New Year's special on his multifamily CEO packet. Jessica Segal, newly elected judge.
Fantastic.
Wow, I can't believe I can't believe that. Jessica Segal, Judge Jessica Segal. That's crazy.
Yeah.
What's your family saying, Jay? What are they like?
They're so
Woo!
excited. Yeah, they're really excited. They were part of they're teenagers, so they're old enough to get it and they're part of the process. And they had a lot of fun with me. And, what I love about it is honestly, they watched me work hard towards a goal and achieve that goal. And that,
Yeah.
our kids are watching us. They see how hard we work. They see how we treat other people, how we interact with other people. So that was really exciting for me to have them on the journey and see the result. It's so exciting.
That is nice. So the book, I'm gonna let you go.
Yes.
I'm thinking about this book, documenting this whole thing.
Yes.
No doubt from a lady's perspective, it's so
Yes.
few. You said it's only the second one since whenever.
Yeah.
Are you gonna touch on some of that too in your?
Yes, absolutely. Definitely going to touch on that because I think it was a time that also was, especially with us having a woman running for vice president,
Yeah,
and it was a lot of good energy. Um,
sweet.
and absolutely. And I used that to reach, I also really tried to reach as many women voters as I could.
Mhm.
And yeah, absolutely. So yeah,
All right.
my 1 year goal. I'll be chipping away at that this year, writing that book. So next year I'm
Good
gonna have to
work.
check in and let you know if it's done.
Well, we'll be promoting it here and offering it to the Roundup viewers too. So, all right,
Yeah.
Jay, good talking to you. Happy
It was
New
great
Year.
talking to you. Happy New Year. I'll talk to you soon.
All
Take
right,
care,
peace.
everybody. Bye.
Roundup family tonight at 7 o'clock. I got Mike Fritz coming back on. He's going to be offering. A lot of you guys missed the special he had for Christmas, so he's bringing another special today for his multifamily training packet, including the live event, including the seller financing thing. I'll be back on in a few hours at 7 p.m. this evening for that. You don't want to miss that. Mike is my dog. The man knows he's buying buildings all around the country, so you need to learn that skill too if it's something you want to learn to do. Raising finances with that. What else? I know who asked that. Trey. If you want to go to my site, New Year, everything's 40% off. Everything. New Year is going to use the coupon code Trey. I haven't even released it yet, but I'm giving it to you since you asked right now, because I love you for the New Year's. Okay, guys? Listen, subscribe to the channel, like the content. I'll see you soon. Peace.